Guys, just stay tuned. We'll be starting the event in 5 minutes.
All, our New Year greetings to everyone present over here. It's a true pleasure for me to welcome you all to the second session of Android Study Jams organized by the Developer Student Club at SRM IST Ramapuram. We are immensely happy to kickstart our first webinar in the year 2021. So, in today's session, we are going to learn about DevOps, which is one of the key technology in today's software industry, a specialized session on version control, Git and GitHub, and most importantly, how to implement DevOps using Android apps. Not to mention, you will also get to know how to avail your GitHub Pro account for free. But before going into the session, I want to shoot out a small introduction to our Developer Student Club. So, what is DSC and who we are? We, the people at Developer Student Club, aim to bridge the gap between the theoretical and practical implementation. Not only that, our community proffers the students plethora of resources to help the evangelists to score the best in their preferred domain. We aid the students to build the perfect roadmap for your career. We primarily focus on teaching you Google developer technologies like TensorFlow, Firebase, Flutter, Kotlin, GCP, and much more. A little while back, we conducted the 30 Days of Google Cloud Challenge, and we received a huge response from the students. The participants who successfully completed both the tracks received some cool swags from the Google developer groups. Now, we are organizing the Android Study Jams, and participants who are successfully completing either one track will be receiving the Certificate of Completion, Google Developer Profile Badge, and projects to showcase on their portfolio. Do you think with this there will be a stop? Then the answer is a very big no, because you can expect the DSC to conduct much more amazing events just like this on various domains like AI/ML, IoT, cybersecurity, web development, AR/VR game development, competitive programming, and much more. But you guys might have a thought-provoking question on what kind of sessions these might be. Just like the Cloud Study Jams and Android Study Jams we organize, we will be having some hands-on workshops to develop your practical skills, boot camps to master a new skill, some expert tech talks for you to get the insights about the latest technology, and how can I forget about the solution challenges where you will learn how to use technology to solve real-time problems. So guys, with this we come to an end. And if you have any concerns to share with us, then please get connected with the social media platforms you see over here. If you have missed out any one of our previous session, then fret not. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for latest notification. I think it's a high time we jump into the webinar. But before that, I will give you a few instructions. If you're having any questions during the presentation, then please type them in the question box you see in the BV control panel over there. We will have a community members to clear away your queries right over there. And for better experience, I would suggest all the participants to attend the webinar through laptops and PCs. So with no further ado, I would like to call upon Krishnan to give a short recap about the previous Android Study Jam session and then a brief introduction to DevOps. Over to you, Krishnan.
Thank you, Mridula, for your introduction. Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing well. Before starting the event, let me just go through or tell you where to post your questions and stuff. Like there is an option called as Q&A here. You can type your questions, okay? And then once we answer, it will disappear. You can find the answers in the answer box here, so that it will be easy for you. I hope you guys enjoy this session. It's going to be so cool and awesome here. So let's not wait furthermore. Let me start with the session. So I hope many would have attended the previous Android session we conducted last time. If you haven't attended, now I'm just going to give you a short introduction on what is Android Study Jam, how you can participate and enroll in this. Well, first of all, what is Android Study Jam? Well, Android Study Jam, we as a community come together and create events so that you can understand these concepts very well, and we will be learning these concepts together. Let's say this time we have Android Study Jam. We previously had Cloud, now we are having Android. So in this Android Study Jams, we'll be together as a community, we'll be learning Android app development. So as a first step of it, we have conducted the first session last time, teaching the basics of Kotlin and Android Studio. If you have missed it, no worries. Once this is over, we have already published it on our YouTube. You can go and watch there, or else we'll also give the link in our chat box there. No worries, you can check it out later. So how exactly this happens is that we will give you an portal for you, separate portal for working your exercises. There are 2 tracks in the portal. First track is for new to programming, where if you have no idea what is object-oriented programming language, if you're completely new, then it's all right, we got you. We have a new to programming track where we'll start from the scratch, from what is a class, what is an object. We'll be going through every subclass, every sub part of it, and then you can understand the concepts very easily. Well, if you're completely new, take the new to programming track. If you have previous experience on object-oriented programming language, where you know about some classes, objects, etc., you can take a prior programming experience. There also you will be covering all the parts, but it will be in a rapid pace. So there the contents will be crisp, so that you understand only the parts which are completely new to you, and then not wasting much of a time on concepts that you already know. So if you have to any other programming language like C, C++, Python, and go to prior programming experience. Regarding the new to programming track, the prerequisites are just basic math, literary, and then I hope if you are here listening to this session, you are more than qualified for the prerequisite. So the new to programming track will be having 6 badges. These 6 badges, each batch, I have explained what each batch are in the previous session. If you have missed it, go watch there. I have explained each of these batches. So as far as prior programming language, I hope you need a prior programming knowledge on any other object-oriented programming language, along with how to use the IDLE and some familiarity with the GitHub. Okay, so in prior to programming experience, we have 10 badges to complete. So if you complete the 10 badges, you will be completing the prior to programming experience. Well, for both of these, there are few common requirements which everyone needs. The first being a computer or a laptop. So you need to install Android Studio to run your program, because like if you see everything without practicing, it won't last long for you. You can't build any new projects and stuff. So we recommend you to have a laptop or a PC so that you can test out whatever programs we are teaching you here, and then whatever programs you're learning in the portal. Well, and then if you have an internet connection, it's awesome, because our portal is an online portal to learn. So on the Android device, and USB cable is highly optional. If you have, well and good. But if you don't have an Android device, no worries. Our Android Studio has a virtual machine which you can stimulate any Android mobile there. It's just pre-built inside it, so that you can check out your app in a virtual machine. Or else, if you don't have, if you are facing any problems using the virtual machine, you can have a USB cable, connect your Android device with your computer or laptop, and then you can do USB tethering and see your app live in your smartphone. Well, that's for as equipment needed. Well, during the last event, what we did was we made you log into this StudyJams portal, and then we taught you and got your first batch. And then I hope you would have learned the basics of Kotlin and Android Studio with a small demo of an app. Well, if you have missed it, please go and learn it after this session. This session doesn't require any prerequisites. We will be going from the scratch. We'll be going slowly, steadily, so that you can understand each concepts very clearly. Well, so if you have not attended the previous session, go to this link. We will leave the link in the chat box. Once you click this link, you will be redirecting it to our portal. Once you go inside our portal, you will be getting your first batch. You just have to do is you have to log in. Once you log in, you will get a developer's profile. That will be, we will be needing the developer's profile. Once you complete either of these tracks, we'll be giving you a form to fill out. Once you fill the form, you'll be getting certificates. Well, there are, as you go inside a course, there will be a lot of units inside it. Every batch you earn will have a unit. Each unit will have a pathway. Okay, so the first thing will be, there will be a video which explains what's inside that, what's going to happen in this unit, and then there will be code lab, so that you can take the code, actually work the code out, and then get an answer. You can work it out in your Android Studio basically. And then finally, you have to complete a quiz to take for every badge. You will be need to take a quiz what you have learned in the video and the code lab, so that you can test that you have actually learned. And then once you complete the quiz, once you pass the quiz, you will be getting the badge right away. Once you complete either of the track, like new to programming track or prior experience track, we will be giving you the certificates. Well, if you're doing it, if you're doing this challenge, Android Study Jam with us, don't forget to mention hashtag Android Study Jams in Instagram or Twitter and tag us there. Well, that's for as the previous session is concerned. That's it. We will be diving into DevOps next. So today's session mainly focuses on DevOps. So you have a question, what is DevOps? I'm sure you guys would have already heard about this term, as it's very famous. And then I hope you would have come across n number of definitions. Well, whether you like it or not, all these definitions are true. Well, let me take you with a story. The story of the Netflix, which happened 5 years ago. So, Netflix story. Ta-da! We would have all heard about Netflix. We all know Netflix. We all watch a lot of Netflix shows. We are so addicted to it. Well, there are more than billion users who use Netflix. So, in 2015, when Netflix rolled out an update, they couldn't scale their application and it got hang. And then for 15 minutes, the Netflix server were down. Within the 15 minutes, they faced a huge amount of money loss, and then they lost few of their customers. It was a very tragic story for Netflix as far as Netflix is concerned. Well, now if you see Netflix, it's super fast, it's super cool. Even if there is any update, it's so smooth, everything is going good. You may wonder why the shift happened from 2015. After 2015, it's now so awesome. Why? Well, Netflix started applying DevOps in their company. Well, now let's get into let's see what actually happens in a product development. Like, say you have an app called as Netflix, okay? You are building it, okay? So what exactly happens there? So there is developers teams, there is operation teams, and there is a lot of confusion between them. So let me just break down these concepts, okay? Who is a developer, who is an operation person, and why there is a confusion happening between them. Well, developer person, actually development team, okay, together they take care of actually building the code, creating an architecture diagram, finalizing the code, choosing a platform. Everything will be done by the development team, whereas operation teams will be taking care of the scalability, like what server do we need to deploy, what networking protocol do we need to use to track these, what are all the things which are needed. As an operation team will be taking the server side, so they will be deploying what this coding team has created. Like if you are coding let's say you are coding a normal your portfolio website, okay, you just go there, publish it, it goes live, right? And if you make any changes also, it's happening right away. So you are the developer person, you are the operation person. So this is for small scale where you hardly have 1 or 2% seeing your website, whereas an app called as Netflix, Google, or Amazon, or any other computer service providers, what happens is that they have a huge amount of audience either working on their website or application at the same time. So they can't they have to take care of scalability, accountability, everything. So there is a lot of confusion which happens between these teams, okay? So when a developer creates, okay, like he creates the code, okay, and then gives it to the operation team. Sometimes operation teams might be busy, okay? The operation teams also has to take care of the security of the servers, how the server is running. Some people, some big companies have their own server rooms, so these operations persons will have to, maintenance process of the servers also will be taken care of this operations team. So when a coding team does the coding and gives it to the operation team, they can't, update it right away. They will be having other works, they have to complete it, and then they will be posting this code, they will be deploying this code later. So once it's done, like there is a huge lot of confusion occurs between them. Like he says, like when a client asks like why it's getting late, the development team will blame operation team will blame the development team, just like we do in our team projects. We blame each other, right? It's exactly what happens in huge corporate companies also. These corporate companies which do not come under DevOps face these kind of issues. That's why we have DevOps. You may not have gotten a clear idea of what's DevOps. We just saw why DevOps, like what DevOps, what is DevOps. I am sure that you would have heard a lot of definitions. There are a million definitions for DevOps. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, all these definitions are true. Okay, so as far as DevOps is concerned, DevOps is a cultural philosophy. It's not a software, it's not a piece of code, it's not something you just go there, it's not like a Python or a C++ or any other software process or anything. You can't just take it and learn it. You have to practice it to understand it. So if you have a career opportunity, DevOps is a growing technology or a practice. We can call it as a practice, a technological product development practice, which offers the development team and the operation team collaborate together. So the development team will be there, the operation teams will be there. They will be making them collaborating with each other so that there is no wall of confusion between them. So that like once you are ready with the code, they can directly get the code with them. So let me break down, these are few of the DevOps definition which are native, so like you can understand easily. So development and operation collaboration, as you would have all known that. Then treating your infrastructure as a code. So you will be, as I already told, there will be a server side to the story. As you are developing the product, everyone will be seeing only the code, but the infrastructure, okay, the infrastructure, the servers, the clients which we are going to deploy the product, even those infrastructures should be treated same as the code, because they are as important as you do the code. Okay, let's say we are conducting this event. Okay, if we couldn't able to deploy what we have prepared, what we have done, we have the content, we have the presentations, we have our knowledge. If you couldn't able to deploy it to your guys properly, then the entire process fails here, right? That's exactly why we have DevOps. Like the deployment the infrastructure will also be treated same as a code. Well, in DevOps, we use automation. DevOps, where there is a lot of, if there is a development team and there is an operation team, and we'll be using a lot of collaborations in between them, and then development team will be doing some works, operation teams will be doing some works. What if we able to automate? Automation is one of the key factors which is going to change the game in the DevOps. So if a human is doing a job, then the chances of getting error is very high. But when you automate it, the risks or the chances of failure is less. So once the error is less, the chances of failure is less. So the chances of deployment getting successful is more. So that's why automation, DevOps is using the automation. DevOps is feature switches, and DevOps is small deployments. So in DevOps, we won't be deploying everything at a go, okay? So we will be taking the macro batches and then making them as a micro batch, and then we'll be feeding the micro batches. You may be confused, like what's a small deployments? Well, if you have an entire app, okay, so you won't be deploying the entire app for the alpha testing or beta testing, okay? You'll be taking only a small portion of an app. Let's say if you are building a WhatsApp, okay, like if you are creating a chat app, okay, instead of having all the features like chat, status, and then the display pictures, this, that, and everything, instead of adding everything at the same go or payment portal or anything, you take only the chat portion first and then deploy it, okay? And then make it create a code for it, send it to the deployment team, test it right away, and then see if there is any issues. If there is any issues, fix it right then itself, okay? And then keep on adding. So once you have a chat, then you can bring in status, and then you can bring in payment portal, etc., 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 the calling features, video calling features, etc. But instead of using DevOps like small deployments, if you use a large deployments, like if you are, just say the parallel situation where you create a WhatsApp where there is chat, there is calling, there is status, and you are pushing it as a single code, okay? And if there is a possibility of errors, then the finding the error would be a very tedious task, because you'll be having million lines of code, so you wouldn't know where the error is. Even the searching process of where the error is will take extremely lot of time in this case. But if you use the small deployments, you can find the errors right there, and then you can fix it. Well, here it happens in 3 stages, where we collaborate the people, we collaborate the process to create a final product. So there is no confusion in between them. So let's go. Benefits of DevOps. Well, as we already spoke about, the DevOps code is faster as we are taking small deployments, right? So these small deployments will be optimized. So when you have only a small part to see, the focus will be more. So you can optimize it while you are optimizing each part of the code, and then you are while adding them together, it will also be optimized. You can optimize it together also. So that's why it's 30x more faster than any other practice. It makes your code 30x faster. The failure rate is less. We already saw about it also, as we are taking care of each and every step. Okay, the failure rate is very less because we have already deployed it and see it works before the actual deployment process. And then it improves IT performance. Well, yeah, as the code is faster, the performance also increases. The relation between the both the teams gets more clean, it's more clearer, etc. Well, now we are having DevOps. Okay, why DevOps? We saw, okay, DevOps is all good, this that. Before DevOps, you may have a doubt like what was the scenario before using the DevOps? What were people using? Well, there is something called as Agile, which people started using from 2005, I guess, and then they started. It's still many companies in India still use Agile. Not just India, any other global companies. There are team which works, which there are companies who are still working on Agile. These Agile models are nothing but once you get the requirements, okay, you'll be designing, developing, and testing. Okay, there is a big flaw in the Agile system where only the development team is there and the operation teams doesn't, come under this cycle. So once you get the requirements, the team starts, the coding team, the development team starts building it, and then there won't be any testing or deployment. Like the testing will be there, but the deployment will be happening separately and not inside the cycle. That's one of the major flaw of Agile. That's why we shifted from Agile to DevOps. And then you may have a doubt like what was there before Agile? Before Agile, there was something called as waterfall model, which is a very big failure than Agile because like every team, okay, the design team, implementation team, testing team, maintenance team, they all were separate. So like once the requirements is there, and then the requirements team will send it to the design team. Once they send it to the design team, the requirement teams will be idle. They won't be doing anything. This will stall the project like anything. The project which should be completed within 30 days will take up to even if you go for 2 to 3 months or 4 months, it may take still a lot of time because there is a lot of issues in the waterfall model. So we have now seen what's before DevOps and Agile. So let's furthermore compare Agile with DevOps. Okay, well, Agile only has these things, okay, so that that operation team doesn't come here at all. Whereas in DevOps, the development team and operation teams collaborate with each other. They share their code. Sometimes they even share their responsibility, roles and responsibility between each other, so that the projects get done quickly. So you can see here that the planning will be done, the code will be done. Once the code is built, the testing will be done, then sent it to the operation team, the release will be done, the deployment, operate, and then they will operate it again, and then they'll monitor for any errors or if there is any fluctuality, if they can actually scale the product very well. Like if you have 100 users, if 1,000 users comes also, it's like it's functioning very well, or it does it getting any error and stuff. That's how the DevOps works here. Well, there are a lot of consequences if you use a DevOps. Well, these consequences are in a positive way. Well, once you adopt DevOps from Agile or any other things, the development team gets more, the collaboration between them increases as the counterparts, they collaborate. Like the development, the main key thing with the development team is that if you know actually what you are going to do and what you can actually deploy, if they could able to make things between them right, then the product development aspects get way easier. I know this concept's kind of, it's more like a spirituality. It's just like Tenet movie, guys. If you can't understand it, just feel it. That's all we can do. Just practice it, just feel it. Just these are practices. These DevOps is a practice. Okay. Then you may have a question like there are people who say Jenkins. There are people who say if I know AWS, then am I a DevOps engineer? If I know GitHub, am I a DevOps engineer? No, no, no. That's completely not. You need to understand how these works, how the product development process works, and then in each process, okay, there is a process like there is a testing team, there is building team, there is coding team, there is automation team. For everything here, there are particular tools which are used inside the DevOps. Those are not actually DevOps. Those are tools which are used inside the DevOps, like DevOps automation tool or AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Everything happens actually inside the DevOps cycle. Okay, so if you want to become a DevOps manager, you need to master the cycle. To master this cycle, there are each parts which need to be done separately. You need to learn Jenkins, you need to learn GitHub, you need to learn cloud services, you need to know automation services, you need to know somewhat like Python automation or anything. Like it's going to boost up your profile as a DevOps manager or associate DevOps person. Well, let the wall of confusion break and let the development team and operation team collaborate the code with each other. And then thank you for being here, listening to me. I hope you would have enjoyed, you would have enjoyed this session. You would have got an idea about what's DevOps now, how the DevOps practices work in the companies. I have given you an example of how these are implemented inside the company and stuff. I hope you would have enjoyed. If you have any queries, you can ping me up on my LinkedIn or you can mail me. We also have a WhatsApp group for Android Study Jams. If you have any query, you can ping up there. I am ready there to answer your questions or any other thing regarding the Android queries and session. Thank you, guys. Thank you. If you have any doubts or anything, you can now put up a message. I'll be reading the messages now. If you have any questions, I'll be answering it regarding the DevOps. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishnan. That was really, really informative. Now, I hope everyone would have a clear picture of what DevOps is and how it plays a major role in our software industry. Next, we have Harikrishnan here to give a brief introduction to version control. Over to you, Harikrishnan.
Hello there. Wait a sec. I hope the screen is visible. Without any further ado, we start off this. So today, my name is Sarikishan and I'm going to start with a version control. Let's start off with a story to describe the problems more clearly to you. So there were three friends who were working on a C++ project, and it was a high school project, high school final project they are working on. So they started with a file name as a main.cpp. Every time they get a new ideas and new features, they will implement it and save it as version 1, version 2, etc. Then after so many files, there are n number of files they have created. So on fine day, they had lost track of which file had which feature implemented, and somehow they lost the entire file. They didn't have the backup for it. So moral of this short story is the problems which I'm going to talk about in next slide. The problems are it was so much confusion as they add a new ideas each and every time. They'll save it as and save it as a new name for it. So there were so many files, there were no proper records at all, and they don't have no backup to, didn't store anywhere else, only one folder they were using, and it was so many confusion than this movie. So because of this, there is less time factor. So the simplest solution to all of this one is version control. What is version control? Version control is a system or a software which tracks the changes which are made in the project. Like let's say you have started the project in last 10 days before and edited last 3 days before. It will show all the history of it, with the time and who edited it and much more. So let's get to the detailed version of it. In software engineering aspect, version control is a class of systems responsible for managing. So this is the definition. This is quite complicated, I think so. Let's imagine a situation. Um, you prepared for exam and you prepared the whole book, but in exam they ask the question from somewhere else and you eventually get failed up. So uh, you will think it of like that. If I have a time travel machine, I would go back to the day before the exam and I prepare of the questions which I know, which I encountered within the paper. So prepare it and you will get center marks. Same like this, you would have a time travel machine which is similar to the version control. So version control, you can switch back to the previous version of the project and work it out. So there are some of the features of the version control system. Starting off is backup and restore. As the three friends which they have edited so many files and they lost the completely whole track and somehow they lost the entire project thing too. So version control system platform gives an opportunity to back up and restore all the files you have edited to. And if you got pretty much bug in your current version of your project, you can time travel. That is, you can go to the previous versions and uh, get to it. Next is synchronization. Um, if the project is so simple, like let's say it is a normal website or it's a normal Hello World project, 3 to 4 people is needed. But what if code is like upgradation of Windows software or something like that? It needs more than 100 to 10,000 or more developers it required and more changes needed to implement it. So version control system um, allows so many end developers to edit on the required project about it, and each of the people can get stay up to date about it. Next is track changes. So these files, whatever they have edited it, it it gets stored in the version. It gets stored along with some short messages about a file. Let's say I have edited this thing, and it also tracked the changes in it, and it shows the changes about it. Let's say, for example, there's an index.html. I believe everyone know this lines of codes. The thing is, this is the main code. It has a paragraph tag and a hello world tag, heading tag. After that, we removed the p tag and added the n tag. Okay. Um, he just, you see the before slide, he removed the p tag and now he added a nav tag. So you can upload this file to the version control with a short message say I have removed a p tag and added nav tag. So it shows the clear version about it, the difference. If it is removed, it shows in red color, and if it is added, it shows in a green color. So this is one of the important feature of the version control system. And next is ownership. Whatever you have edited changes and you want to know the developer behind this code, then you can get to know about it, and each time the version controls system records those ownership and each and responsibility. Each of the fellow developers who have edited this code have the full responsible that they can edit in future. Say if you are developing a project and your teammates are also involving it, you added a feature, but your teammate get appreciated by the higher authority, then you would get really pissed off about it. So you can show this version control system, like say I have done this thing, so it shows the ownership. And next is sandboxing. Say you have a project and you want to try and implement a feature without interrupting the main code, so you can take a copy of it and sandbox. You can take a copy of it and just try out a new features about it. If that's all, that's called sandboxing. And branching and merging. Branching is the largest sandbox where you can make the changes in isolation. About the there are three developers, and three developers have three new features, and each developer create a branch. So a project get a three branch. So um, they have a isolation area where they tested out the things, and after they implemented, they have to combine these branches. So there's a feature merge which combine all these three branches together into a one uh, common project, and this happens before the deployment of the project, before the production of the project. um, so to understand it, the version control more deeper, we have to learn some necessary vocabulary such as push, pull, merge, something like that. So the basic setup, this basic setup, this is common to every version control system. It's a gate or a subversion or mercurial. It is common everywhere. Repository. Repository is something like you have a main folder, and that main folder contains all the files in it. It the main folder is also known as repository, and this repository have two nicknames, kind of nicknames. They called it different in different places. One is in your PC, this repository called as workspace, and it is also called as a working copy. These files are stored in your PC, that is your hard drive or anything. Then next is repository. Repository, like its short nickname, it's a repo, which is stored in GitHub or any other VCS. Like they provide storage space for it. So while you're creating a new repository in GitHub, it would give a similar screen like this: public, private. You can make it of anything like that. Basic action. These are main action which every beginner undergo to it. Starting off is add. Let's say you have created a project in your workspace, that is in your PC, and you want to commit it. You want to, like, say I want to upload those files to the online such as like GitHub. So first command is add. Um, this thing is how, like let's say it just adds the file. It brings the attention of the VC, and it adds the file into the staging area. Staging area is the connection between the uh, online repository and your workspace. So it adds the file in the staging area. Then after after you commit after, let's say you have add the file and you did the work, and somehow you don't need this file in my workspace, in a project, in a particular project. So you delete that file in your workspace, but it is still there in your staging area or in repository. Then it gets deleted in a repository after doing the commit command. Commit is after you added the files in a staging area, you have to upload it to the repository. So this is another command, which is commit. Commit is like you got a fixed up in the mind, like these are the files I'm going to upload it. So before uploading it, this command is used. It contains the metadata, that is who um, who uh, who who edited it, and what on which state they have edited it. So many things like that. And commit message. Let's say I have added this feature, and uh, I, I have a short message like this feature is added. It should be a meaningful message, not like every time like small changes, not something like that. After you did a commit, but you say again, I want to change the files, I want to undo the commit. To undo it, we have to revert it. So revert is basically like undoing the last commit to the file, and revert is a forward moving undo operation. When you commit, when you use the command commit, it gets the files get ready to upload in the repository. So if you type the revert command, then the files get will not be ready, and you can make the changes of it. So basically it undoes the commit. It's like Thanos who did that with a time store in a climax part of the movie. And next to these two twin actions, push pull. So you have work you have committed the folders into the staging area. Now after that, only one command is used to upload the file from the staging area to the workspace, that is push. So push is to just upload the changes, upload the file from the workspace to repo. After uploaded to your repository, and many other developers who live in world around, they can make the changes to your repository. So after they make changes in your repository, the files get changed in it, but your workspace is still in an older version. So to get the updated version of the repository, you have to do the pull command. So you get updated version of the file of a project from your local from the repository to your workspace. So it's basically like this. After you add and commit a staging area, the files get pushed to the repository, like it gets stored in the repository via push command. After some other developers make the changes in the repository, then the workspace is in the previous version, so you can pull it out to get an updated version of it. Next is history. So you are the owner of a repository, and the developers made some editings in a repository, and you want to know who are all did the editing things, who are all and which state they have edited. So this command shows those things. It shows the metadata, like say shows the author of the file, and which time they have done this thing. So this is Git version control system, and it has a command git log one line. So it shows the full entire commits which happen to the repository in these lines. Let's say this line, there's some yellow color code 9F75E8F. I hope it's visible for you. it's clear, and that yellow color code is a unique identifier for each and every commit. So it contains the metadata, and this is the commit message that each developer added that thing. Advanced actions. These advanced actions would be clear to you once you started contributing towards the open source. Let's say you when you started participating in hackathons, you get to know about these actions very well. Difference is it it's similar to the track changes which I had explained in one of the feature. So it shows the difference between the oldest version and the newest version. It shows in a red and green color. So let's say for an example, there's a list.txt in a repository. One developer has created this thing. After this thing, another developer want to make the changes in this list thing. So they remove the keyword soup and added the cheese in it. So whatever they are removed, it shows in a red color. Whatever they are added, anything new, it shows in green color. So it added, and now the list.txt gets updated to this version, cheese, milk and cheese. And another developer want to add one more item in this list, and egg is added, so it shows a plus egg, which is in green color. So the thing is, every time if you want to see the changes what happened, you can use the command diff, so it shows these things like red color, green color thing. Next is branch and merge. N number of developers are created, n number of features for a project, and they won't make the changes to the main repository or directly. So they would create a branch. So it is like an independent line of development. So it provides a full abstraction. Whatever you are adding the features in the repository, it won't affect the main project. It would be still in the oldest version unless you did the commit and they push and pull command. So after you created branch things, and merge would happen. So after created so many branches, to combine those branches, merge command is used. We'll get to know about this advanced action in pretty much example in upcoming slides. So while merging the different branches, there would be a conflict, and this conflict happens when two people change the same line of code, or one developer delete a file and other modify the file, and it would bring the conflict. And this is a hectic process for most of the developers out there. So how it happens? Let's say there's a list: milk, egg, soup, and there are two developers who are working on about it and making some changes. Vikram pulled this, and he works off. He added and removed. He added cheese and removed eggs in his workspace. So it show, and in now this workspace, the list is milk, cheese, soup. So after this, he would commit to the main repository, and the main repository accept the request, pull request, and the file gets updated from this list to this list. So after this, Veda is also changing this file, not this file. This file is changing up. So he's changing this file, and he removed the X and add the odd dog, and he gets a commit after Vikram does. It won't happen. It would bring up a conflict error. It shows in regular, like already Vikram uploaded this, because they have both the developers are doing at the same line of the code. so it would bring the conflict. To avoid such conflicts, reapply your changes. That is, instead of editing instead of editing this file, if we edited this file and added uh, hot dog, remove the cheese, and after he merge it up, then uh, it won't bring the conflict up. So this is one of the way. And another way is have a conversation with a fellow developer. Let's say Vikram says to Veda before doing his work, like I'm going to do this work, bro. So what do you say? And Veda also bring it up. So have a conversation with fellow developers. So let's take an example. Example is it's a real world example. The PUBG Mobile, which is which has started in 2018 and still in trending in Play Store or App Store anywhere else. It's still trending out. And have you ever wondered how this game developed so more and got a popular version? And so analyzing the game version, it started off with a version 0.3.3, only one map and one mode, that is 100 players fight each other, and who survive at the last, uh, they would get a chicken dinner. This is the version 0.3.3, which started in 2018. And after that, version 0.4.0 came up, arcade mode. Arcade mode is the where the quick matches, 10 to 15 matches happen, and a sniper only, pistol only. Those matches started. And these are the pretty much version they come. So for example, I'm going to take the first two versions. And the process, the workflow, how they got updated from these older version to the newer version, it would be like similar to this. And the process which I'm going to explain is it's called fork and branch, or they have another name, clone and branch method. So this is the older version, this is the previous version, and this is the updated version. Okay, how it gets updated to the version, that's the process we are going to see. So this is the original repository. It has the version 0.3.3. So I am a developer and I want to update this version to the arcade mode, add the arcade mode in it. So first step I would do is copy the URL of this original repository and clone it into my version control. Let's say git. I will put a git clone this URL. Then after that, I would get that get a repository, get that folder or repository in my workspace. In my PC, I have this entire code, which is similar, exactly similar to this thing. So after I make the changes and implemented my feature arcade mode, now it's version 0.4.0. So the next process is to change this original repository, gets the updated version to arcade mode. So how it happens now? He would create a let's say first create a local repository in a GitHub or Git bucket, any version control any storage space provided by a company. So I will create a local repository. Then I will create a branch name. So since I'm creating a new feature to a project, I'm creating a branch. This branch name as an arcade mode. You can have any name, like let's say version 0.4.0 is the branch name. So after creating a branch to the local repository, there are a series of commands. One is add. So add is is like adding your folders to the stage, adding your file to the staging area, and staging area checks the local repository for any difference between them. So if there is a difference, it would add a thing. Only the difference get added, not the entire file. Since there is since the local repository is new, entirely new, the difference is only this version. So it would add an entire version 0.4.0 to the staging area. After adding that, the developer have to fix it. Let's say I'm going to add this thing to the local repository. So you would give the commit. So after you give a commit command, you have to give a commit message. Let's say I have created arcade mode. So arcade mode is implemented, something like that. So after committed, the staging area is fixed. This arcade mode is there in staging area. Now from staging area, you have to add your update a file here. So you have to do the push command. So after push, this arcade mode gets updated from the staging area to the local repository. So there's only one way we are behind. One is the last thing that we are behind is to update this older version to the newer version. Just add my version year to year. So how it happens is first the developer would create a pull request to the original repository. In the pull request, along with more developers who are working under the PUBG company, PUBG relation. So they will talk about this new feature. They will discuss among each other, and they would also test it out this new this repository without this repository. So let's say like we did know, like clone the repository and add it and file. So changes going on, and each and developers make their issue, something like that. After everything gets approved, the original repository accept this pull request. So accept the pull request. Now original repository have the branch arcade mode. So he merges the branch arcade mode to the oldest version 0.3.3. After merging out, the arcade mode gets updated here. So before the production, this thing has happened. It is similar like this. If you have doubts related to those comments, you can ask in question and answer section. I will reply to it. Next is types of version control. There are two types. One is centralized and another is distributed. Centralized version control. So in this version control, only one main repository have. In last example, in PUBG example, we created our own repository that is distributed version control. This centralized version control is much more different than this. So you get a repository copy in your workspace or working copy, then you make the changes and you commit it to directly to the server repository. So to see the changes in the server repository, like let's say you added a new feature to the main repository, but they didn't see because they didn't do the update command. So to others see your changes, first thing is you have to commit the feature to the main repository, and another is update it. So they have to update it. You commit, they update. Now everyone who connected to this server can see the feature implemented by you. And next is distributed version control. As we saw in central version control, there's no local repository here. This is one of the difference between the centralized and distributed. So in distributed, each and everyone have the repository. So let's say each user have its own. The process which I explained is similar to the distributed version control. if you have created a new feature, the process goes like this: create a branch for it, and you add, you commit, and you push it up. So from your workspace, you commit to the repository. After repository, you have to make the changes here. So you have to push to the server repository to see your changes, to see the feature implemented by you, or changes in the project. They have to update it. How it happens is, they have to pull the file from the original repository to their remote repository, and after that, working copy, which is the workspace, that is file stored in your PC, it gets to be updated. So the update command is used. That is like, you use the pull command. So first, you commit your projects in a repository, and you push to it to the main server, and the server gets updated. And these and all are still in older version. So to get updated, they have to first pull the code from the main from the original repository to their remote repository, and to see the changes in your workspace, in your own PC, you have your files. You have to update it. So there are differences between the centralized and distributed version control. First, there's no local repo. As we said that, as we saw that only one main server which connecting the three nodes we saw in that diagram under this centralized version control. There's no local repository for each and every user. Because of this thing, there would be so many changes. One is work slower comparatively. Since it's connected to the main server, and everyone frequently do their work, update their thing, so the network pretty much gets more traffic, so the work gets slower. And distributed version control, since they each and every user have their own local repo or a remote repo, so the works get much more pretty faster than this one. Next is failure. The thing is, one server is connected to every other user's working space. So if the central server gets shut down, or any bug or any failure get happened, then entire repo which connected to this get failure. But in distributed, each and every developers have their own repository. So the failure in the main server, it won't affect their repository, or it won't affect their working copy too. And another last difference is, always you need internet connectivity. Without internet connectivity, you cannot update the version of your files to the main. But in this thing, in the distributed, we can work on the local repository without the internet. You can make the changes in a local repository without the internet. So next is some popular version control system. In centralized version control, this is the only one got popular, which is started off in the 1980s, 1990s, and now its popularity get low because of the differences we have on, because it won't provide any local repository, and it works much slower than the much slower, and it don't work or it don't work unless we need internet every time. And next is distributed version control. These are two softwares are used more popular, Git and Mercurial, and everywhere you see is Git. Mercurial is kind of pretty much low popularity. Git offers more flexible than a Mercurial, so that it becomes so popular these days. And thank you. You can ask your doubts in a Q&A session. Q&A. you can see in the tab. I'll reply to it. So Sumail data, I've asked the GitHub. GitHub is the where your project gets stored, and it's the version control. Let's say you have projects in your workspace and you want to store it in somewhere online, GitHub would be pretty much useful. And if you want your project get accessed by everyone around the world, um, GitHub is a pretty much platform for it. I hope it answered your question. So how is Git and GitHub is different? Upcoming speaker would give the solution for it. Joel Matthew. How does it store the code for GitHub? That's the process I have explained. GitHub has their own storage, which is provided by them. You have to do the basic commands and the file gets stored in the GitHub.
Hari Krishnan, that is an awestruck explanation. Moving on, we have Namrita here to present a session on Git and GitHub. She will even pull off a demo on how to avail your GitHub Pro account for free.
Thank you, Mr. Just let me know if you can see my screen right now. Is it visible?
It's good to go, Namrita.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so hey everyone, I'm Namrita Hari and I'm from CAC first year department. So today I'll be taking the session on Git and GitHub. Before we head into the slides, I want to know how many of you have used Git before and like how many are like totally new to it. Just put it in the chat box and I will see. What I believe is that many of you are still very new to Git. So I hope you will understand Git better by the end of the session. So let's see what we are going to go in this session. So these are the topics we'll be going through. What is Git? Why is it so popular? Git and GitHub, the basic Git commands. Then we will see how we can avail the GitHub Pro account also. That's what you all want, right? Okay, so let me start with an example. When you're just a beginner at coding, you must be familiar with the constant fear of losing your files, which contain your hard-earned files. Like you spend a lot of time coding your files. So what do? You just make multiple copies of your folder, right? So, but don't you think that is a very tedious task? What if I say there is an easier way to track your files and projects fast and efficiently? So this is where Git becomes your savior. It will help you manage your files in a more faster and efficient way. Okay, so what is Git and why is it so popular? Git is a version control system which helps you store different versions of your code. It was created by Linus Torvalds in the year 2005. He is also the creator of Linux. Git basically helps you collaborate on a project with anyone around the world. Right now, in companies, having a good Git profile is equivalent to having a great resume for an employee. Okay, so you guys must contribute to projects and have an amazing profile. So why is Git so popular? You must have keep on hearing Git, but what is this Git? Why do you hear it everywhere in the coding world? Git is popular because it is a free software and it does not require any hardcore software. Recently, even more features like private repositories have become free. So that's an added advantage. It is also an open source software, so it has its own security. It is super fast because all you have to do is just learn some basic Git commands and Git will do the work for you. So that's so good, right? Then it is scalable. So what does the word scalable mean? It means that new versions are released quite fast and the user experience becomes more better and easier. Okay, so the next thing what we are going to see is Git and GitHub. Many people still think that Git and GitHub are the same thing, but that is where you are going wrong. They are extremely different things. I'll explain it in a very simple manner, okay? So, what is Git? Git is a software in your local machine which helped, this is where your code initially existed, okay? Whereas GitHub is your Git repository hosting service where your code can be viewed in the internet and collaborators can just view your code and work with you. So this is the place in the internet, and this Git is the place in your local machine, okay? So I hope that makes you understand the difference between them, okay? So the next thing what we are going to see is Git basic commands. But before that, we will go what are the basic concepts you need to know before you go through the commands. So I will. So what is a repository? So we'll first. It is a place which contains files, history, and configurations managed by Git. Okay, so it is this place which stores all your files, like whatever files you had coded, and then the history. What does history here mean? It means whatever code you added or you made modifications or you deleted them, all that history is the place. So that also repository shows it. And the configuration is if you have given any user data like your name or email or on all that stuff will be given by Git. It will be in the repository. So the next thing what we will look at is Git workflow. So this concept is really very important because without this, you will not understand the basic use of the Git commands. So you should really understand this concept very clearly. So first thing you have to know is basic two systems. These are very important. That is local system and the remote system. These two systems are really important to know about. So the local system is the system in your computer. So the computer is the local system and the remote system is a system somewhere else. It can also be somewhere else or in the internet. So GitHub is the perfect example of a remote repository. Okay. So the local system, okay, it contains basically three stages. That is the working directory, the staging area, and the local repository. I will just make you understand in a slight, very small way what it means. So the working directory is just like where you will do all your coding. You will put Java, Python, or HTML, or everything will be done in the working directory. It is the rough place, just like your notebook, okay, where you will do all your coding stuff. And the staging area is the pre-commit holding area. So this is actually a very temporary area where you just put in your files for a temporary time limit, okay? And repository means after final commit, these files are stored there permanently, okay? This is where your files are go to permanently. So let's move on to the next slide. So here I have given you a very simple diagram so that you understand the basic Git workflow. So Git basically contain, like, the first thing what you need to know is like the yellow part, okay? The yellow color place shows your local repository and the blue area shows your remote repository. The yellow part is your device and the remote area is GitHub, that is in the internet, okay? So in your device, there are mainly three areas, okay? So that is the working directory, staging area, and the local repository. So the working directory is the place where you put in all your coding and all the rough works and the code, Python, Java, and whatever stuff will be done here. Then using a certain Git command, okay, a certain Git command, you can put some of your files in the staging area. So this is the temporary area where you're just putting in some files. If you do not like some files, you just remove it from here using a certain Git command. So this is the temporary area, okay, where you put your files for this while. Then using another Git command, what you can do is just put it for permanently, you can put it in the local repository. This is the final place where your files end up in. Okay, so you can use another command so that the entire thing in your desktop that has happened will move to the internet. So okay, so you don't confuse with, this is not a single step, this is a separate local repository and this is a separate remote repository. Okay, you will understand better in the coming slides. Now we will go through the basic Git commands. These are really basic things that really a beginner needs to know. No advanced concepts are there here. So you should be able to understand this. So Git init. So what is Git init? Git init transforms current directory into a Git repository. So this is the very important code. This is the first step you have to do when you're working with Git. That is, what is this? This is like if you want this particular folder to be put for the Git to be understand this is the folder you want the Git to come in. So this is what git init is the one that does that work for you. Then the next command is git config. It configures user info across all repositories. Okay, so what this does is it gives you gives git, let's git know who you are, what's your name, what's your email. So this is what git config does. Then git status shows the current state of your working git repository. So this is the thing that tells you what you have done with your file till now, whether you have added some details to it or you have removed some details, or that's what this git status done. You need it a lot to understand what is to remember what is done. Then git remote. Git remote lists the remote repository where your local repository is connected with. Okay, so this is the command which tells you like whether your local machine is connected to any machine that is like the remote repository, like whether it is connected to any account like GitHub thing. So that is what git remote does. It tells you if you have connected your device to anything on the internet. This is what this command does. So let's move on to the next slide. So this slide tells you about a command which I hadn't mentioned you in the before slide. It is a command called git branch. So what, I didn't want to like confuse you guys with very complicated definitions. That is why I just placed a diagram here so that you can understand very easily. So this line you see here, okay, this is your code. This yellow circles are your code. So this first circle you see here is the first version of your code, and this second circle here is the second version of your code, and the third circle is your third version of your code. What are the different versions? What does versions mean? That is, initially this was the code that you had in your file. Then you made some modifications, you removed some things, and you added something and made your code much better. So that becomes your second version. And then again, you make some changes and then you save it. So that is the third version. So that is what, this is where the three versions of your code are. Now, suppose you and your friend want to work on a mobile app. Okay. So you have already started your work and your friends want to help you out and they want to like collaborate with the project with you. So that is where a branch works. What your friend does, so these different colors, which shows your friend. This is friend number 1 and this is friend number 2. So your friend 1, what he does is makes a branch of your code. That is, makes a copy of your code, not the original code, but makes a copy of your code and then works on that code and then gives it back to you. Okay, and it's up to you to decide. It's up to the owner to decide whether you want this changed code into your application, whether this thing will make better or not. So that is so the owner has all the rights whether he wants to add or not. Then your second friend can also take a copy of it, separate copy of it from neither these, a separate individual copy of your code and work on it and then again give it to you. So that will be like making your work a lot more easier. So I hope you understood git branch. Then next we are going to see some basic commands. These are very important commands. You will use it a lot. So let's see what it is. Git add. It adds file as it looks now in stage until your next commit. Okay. So what this does is that it adds your like the one initial code which we have coded into the temporary area. So that is what git add does. So then git remove. What does it do? What does it do is that it removes your file from stage. That is, if your file was in this temporary area now that you added a file by mistake, what it does is removes your file back and puts it in your notebook. That is your rough work area. That is your working repository. Then git commits your staged content. So that is that this is making like making sure that your files which were there in your staged area are now finally put into the permanent area. So this is the command that does finally everything, the last command in your local repository. Then what is git push? Git push sends file changes from local repository to remote repository. So what this does is that once all your work is done in your local machine, what it does that this pushes your code into the internet. That is the GitHub. So that is what git push does. And git pull brings files or changes from the remote repository to the local repository. So what git pull does is that if your code, you have made some changes in GitHub, that is the internet, then what, and you wanted to bring it to your local machine. So git pulls your code from the internet to your own device. So that's what git pull does. So let's see what's next we have. So again, I have put this diagram here so that you can understand again what concepts I had told you before. So this is the working directory. So this yellow area is your like local repository, that is your device, and the blue area is GitHub on the internet. So the working area is the place where you will put on all your code and all the rough work will be done here. And staging area is the temporary area. Okay, I think you guys must have already got a lot of, must have got very confused. So let me explain it to you in a very easy way. So the working directory is just imagine that the working directory is Amazon, okay, and it has got a lot of products. Your files are the products, okay, so just think like that. And using a certain git command, what you can do is that you can put in your favorite products from Amazon site into the staging area. That is the cart, okay, that is the cart. And then what it does is that once it is in the cart, it's like when you what happens when you put your items in the cart. You're not sure whether you want to buy it, but you like the item, right? You don't maybe you don't want to buy it because you have short it in pocket money or something, but you just add it in the cart anyway. So that is the play. This is the staging area, acts like your Amazon cart. And what if like now will your products will be delivered if you only put it in your cart? No, right? You have to tell Amazon that I want these items by making a payment. So once you make a payment, Amazon now knows that you want these files. So that is the basic idea. That's a simple example I wanted you to give. I wanted you to know. I'll again explain in the terms of file. So here you have multiple files here, and you want some of your files to be put in the temporary area. So the git add commands helps you put it in your temporary area. And the next thing that once you find that all the things you have added is correct, what you do is you use git commit to say that, to tell Amazon, yeah, you need all these products. So you're telling git that, yeah, these are the 4 files I want to be put in the local repository, okay? And then once all the work in your local repository is done with, you use another command so that put your code from your device to the internet. So the command which you use there is git push. You will understand it better with the next and final diagram, okay? So yeah, so this is the local repository, okay? This is the place where your local machine is, like your device is the local repository, okay? And here the working repository is the Amazon site where you have a lot of untracked files or untracked products. So many things are here. Then what you do, you use git add to add your favorite products into your cart. So now your products are staged. So your files are staged. So now they're in the shopping cart. The staging area is the shopping cart. And then when you want to say to Amazon that you want to pay for the products, what do you use? You use git commit to put it into your like local repository. So that's as simple as that. I hope you understood this thing better by when I told you the example of Amazon. Then once all the work in your local repository is done, the work is not done over yet. You want to showcase to the world that you have such beautiful code. So what you do is that you use the command git push to put it into the internet, and then people can help you out with your code and projects. So that was the basic concept of Git workflow. So next, these are some useful links that you will require during this demo. Now I'll be showing a demo. So you'll need this link. So just you can code along with me or you just see it, okay? So git guide, what does this link do? This link will tell you a bit more about all the commands and gives you detailed definitions. So you should definitely check this out. Then git commands cheat sheet is the place where all your commands will be there and short definitions will be there. So once you are okay with your basics of Git, you can use this to code. Then Git installation is the place you'll be installing all your Git and all the stuff. GitHub is the online like remote repository place where you need to make an account to use it, okay? Then the GitHub student pack is the place where you will be getting your GitHub Pro pack. So that is what we had now. Now I will show you a simple demo. So the first thing, okay, I didn't open the link. Sorry about that. Let me open this link. That is the Git installation. Yeah, so this is the place where you can install your Git. I use Windows, so I have used the Windows one and the latest version is 2.3, okay? So the next thing what you have to do is just close this tab. I don't need this anymore. Then you have to do is clear all the browsers, open your file explorer, and then I'm taking Windows C, and what I'll do is make a new folder, and the folder's name is hello. And once I have made a folder, what I'm going to do is open the folder and copy this path. So copy the path. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my command prompt. So here what you can see is now that there are C/user/. Namrata given here, right? Then what you have to do is like, now you want to open this file, right? So what you have to do is just, you can use this very simple command that will help you open your file without, this is the thing that will help you. That is, you should do cd, that is change directory and control V. It's as simple as that. Now what you can just see what things will happen here. So cd command helps you open your file, right? So that's what cd command does. The next thing what we are going to do is we are going to make a file within this thing. Instead of there's a very simple way how you can open up all your files. So for that, what you have to do is you have to type touch space. What is the file name which you want? That is index.html. So this is a file name which I want. If this code doesn't work for you, do not worry, I have an alternative. So you can see that there's a HTML file that has opened up here. Okay, so the next alternative which I'm going to use is echo space. I'm going to give it as, then this one, this symbol, then style dot HTML. Okay, so this code will help you also to make a file. You can see that another file has been created. The next thing what you have to do is just open this in a notepad. I hope you guys can understand. Then just open, I'm going to just use notepad, no visual code or anything. And I'm just going to copy this because I've already written this for you. This is a basic HTML code, so no worries. I know that all of you must be already knowing this code. So I'm just going to paste this here, which says hello, and just check whether all your code is correct. I'm going to write hello to ASJ102. Then I'm going to do Control S. Do not forget to save your files or else it won't work. Okay, then I'm just going to open this in my browser and see whether everything's working fine. Yes, so it is working wonderfully. So I'll just close this tab. I don't need this anymore. So the next thing what I'm going to do is, now this 2 files have been added. Now I want to say git that this is the place I want the git stuff to work. So the first important command which I'm going to use is git space init. Okay, so this is the command which tells you like, and yeah, it says that initialize empty git repository. So it has initialized. But what happened? I can't see any folder here. What is the problem here? Do not worry, you can definitely see your files by going to view. And then what you can do is just checkbox this hidden items thing. And what you can see is here you can see a hidden folder that is git. You can see it only if you checkbox the hidden items folder. Okay, so now your git knows that this is the place where you want your git to come. Then the next thing what we have to do is write git space config. You're going to tell git that you are the person who is going to handle git now. You are the boss here. So you're going to use this code. You're going to use git space config dot username. Make sure you write all your commands properly. And I'm going to write Namrata, Hari, and then close it. Okay, so just check if all your code is correct and just write enter. So nothing has happened. Why? So you'll see it in a moment what has really happened. I'm just going to copy this too. It's the same thing till user dot. Okay, then you're going to go, oh my god, by mistake I did that. Okay, I'll just type it again. Copy something. Okay, I'll just type it again. So I'll just write git space config. Didn't get copied, that's why. Global space user dot email. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just write my email. My name is clickfornums@gmail.com. Okay, do not do this thing. This is by mistake I put it. What you do is like git config space global user dot name, and then you'll have Namrata Hari, and then the next step is config space global user email, and then something has happened. So let's see what has actually happened. So what we are going to do is we are going to write git space config hyphen global space -e. So what this will do is it will show you what has actually happened with what I just typed. It will take a time. For me, the VS Code will open. For you, the virtual machine will open up because I have connected my Git with Visual Studio Code. So it will take some time. So yeah. Okay, it is opening. Have patience. Yeah, it's opening. And yeah, it's opening. Okay, fine. It shows that all my details are here, and I just close it. As soon as you close it, You can see this now, nothing is there, no? You'll just wait, nothing has happened. Yeah, so now the code has come. So the next thing what we are going to do is we are going to like, now we have just initialized Git. We are telling Git that this is the place I want Git to work. So now what we're going to do is, now everything is just in the working repository. Now what we want to do is we have to put it in the temporary location. So for that, what we're going to use is git space add space and file name. So I'm going to use index.html. So I'm going to just add one file here, but if you want to add more than one file, you can type like this, style.html, but I'm not going to add the second file, but I'm just letting you know for your knowledge. And then I'm going to just enter. So it says that something has been, no message has come. So what you have to do is just type git space status so that you know what is really happening. You can see that one of them files are in green color and one of the files are in red color. That shows, the green color shows that it is now in the temporary area. So like the staging area. Okay, so I have only added index.html, so it is in green color. I didn't add the poor style.html, so it is sad and angry, so it is in red color. Okay, so the next what we are going to do is we are going to make index.html angry again. So how we will make it angry is that just write git space rm. So this is what does is that it removes the file. So git space rm space hyphen cached, and then you have to write a file name. You know, say that you want to pick index.html out of your temporary area. And it said it has removed this file. Now let's check the git status again. And you can see both of them are angry now. Okay, so they're both angry and they are now back to the working directory and they are not inside the staging area. That is, it's not in the Amazon cart. You have just kicked them out of your cart. So what I will do is I'm going to add both the files now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a very short trick. That is, you can use git space add space full stop. So what does it do is that it adds all your files in your folder. So that is very convenient. You can again check git status. You can see that both of them will become green right now. So yeah, so both of them have become green. So they are both happy right now. So the next thing what we are going to do is we are going to, now it is only in the temporary area. So what we are going to do is that we are going to tell Git that we want this in the permanent area. So you need to do the payment right now. So for that, you're going to use git space commit space hyphen. You're going to use hyphen, and then you're going to do M. Yeah, M, and then you can do, just put in a small message. Do not write Mahabharata there, okay? And then just write. Okay. So you can see a lot of messages have come. So 2 files changed means 2 files have been added, new files have been added, and 6 is insertions. That means I have only added stuff. I haven't deleted anything from it. So that is why it shows insertions. If you have deleted something, there will be a negative signs. So that's what. So now, right now, all of your code is in the permanent local repository. So now you must be thinking like now in your like it should be coming in GitHub, but no, you haven't made a GitHub account and you haven't told Git that you want this code inside yours. So what we can do is, first thing you have to do is just go to GitHub, make your account first. That's the first step you have to do. I have already made the account, so I don't have to do this thing. So the next thing you do is just make a repository. So just press this plus icon and do the new repository. And then I will just type something really simple. I'll type hello ASJ102. Okay, so it says, okay, your new repository will be created. And then do not do anything, let it be in your as it is. This is a public repository, that means everybody can see your code here. And private means it's personal to you and only 3 people can contribute to. Okay, the next step you have to do is just copy this code. You really have to copy this code. We don't have to do anything else because we have done all the other things. So we'll just do that. So before we just copy paste the thing, what we're going to see is we're going to check if there is any remote repository connected to the Git. So you can see there's no message. That means no remote repositories has been connected. So we'll just paste it. And then we'll again check git space remote. And now you can see is that there is something called origin here. So what is origin? Origin is the default remote repository name. So that's the default name, okay? Origin is the default remote repository name. So now let's just also see what is the git, what is the default branch name also. If you type git space branch, you can see that the default branch name is master. So you should not get confused with this. So The origin is the remote repository name and master is the branch name. Okay, so the next thing what you're going to do is you must be thinking that now that we have connected our GitHub to GitHub account to our Git, you must be able to see the files. So let's reload and see. So what happened? I can see my files here, but you forgot an important step. The important step here was you didn't push your code. So you have to do is git space push. And what this will do is it will push your code. It will push your code into your remote repository. So then after that, you just copy this code and then paste it. And you have to wait for some time. Something is happening there. Something really interesting is happening there. And then a lot of messages have come here. Yeah, it says that branch or master set up a track remote method. Okay, so what happened now? I can still see the files here. What is the problem here? Why can't I see it? Oh yeah, I can see it because definitely it will work because I used the git push command. That is a super command we are using here. So the next thing what we have to do is we are going to pull some code from the remote repository to our own device. So what we're going to do is just click add file and click create new file. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a markdown, just write readme .md. So md stands for markdown. That is a very simple code. No need of any code. You can just write whatever you want. So I'm typing hello, and then I'm just committing a new file. That means I'm saving the changes. And then what happens is that a new readme.md file has been created. Wow, that's great. So now you must be thinking how to bring these changes into our local repository. All you have to do is write git space pull, not push, okay? Git space pull origin space master, okay? So this is the code which you have to use. I hope it's clear for you. And then yeah. And as you can see is that a lot of messages have come. So do you think the file will be there in your Git repository right now? And when you open it, voila, your file is here. It's ready here. So that's all what we had to do here. And then what we should do is like now we're going to learn is how to fork a repository. So what we're going to do is we're just going to write DigitalOcean. We don't know what this DigitalOcean is. That it's a very big company and it promotes open sourcing. What is open sourcing? Open sourcing is like making contributions to a company's code. So that is what contribution means. Okay, before we get into that, let me just tell you how to fork it. So what you see right now is digital/ocean. So this is DigitalOcean is the name of the organization and Godot is the project name. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fork it. And I have already forked it. So what you can see now it's DigitalOcean / Godot, right? Once you click this, you can see a change here. What is the change you can see here is that now it is a copy. This code has been copied into my own site. So now that copy, I can work on that copy. Because why we are making a copy? Now I scroll down and you can see there's a large number of files. So it's not manually possible for me to like copy paste, right? So for that, this does all the work. So that was about forking. So the next thing what I'm going to tell you is about what is the need of making contributions, okay? Making contributions is like also known as open sourcing is really important right now because in companies, if you do open sourcing projects in GitHub, it makes your profile look really good. So, and also very popular programs like GSOC by Google and all are totally open sourcing projects. You can do a lot of internships and all in that. And also the latest Hacktoberfest was also encouraging students and employees to do open sourcing. So it just makes your coding a bit more better. That means you can solve any type of problems. Okay, so the next thing what we are going to do is like the next thing, the most awaited moment of this session was we are going to know about how to avail your Git Pro account. So what is the benefit of the Git Pro account? So the first thing is that it is exclusively available only to students. So only students have this privilege, so no one else has. Then you get tons of paid softwares for free. As a student, you need to work on a lot of projects, so these softwares will definitely help you out and help you make your profile a lot more better in another level. So you can impress your interviewer. Then the next thing you can do is use free domain to host your own website and much more. So you can just make your own portfolio website and then you can show to the companies that I have worked on my own portfolio website and where I hosted on my domain. So that is so really great achievement. Then why pay when you can get it for free, right? That's the best benefit out of this. Okay, so the next thing what we're going to do is, okay, I didn't open up, sorry about it again. I'm just going to open this link which I sent you. Is it opening up? Yeah, it's opening up. Okay, opened up twice. And then you can just make this, go to the site. Okay, after you go to the site, what you have to do is, you can see a lot of free stuff here. You can check them out in the link. You can make a lot of free domains, Canva free subscription, and all that stuff. Now, how to get your pack? Just click your get your pack thing. And then what you have to do is just put in your email and you can just get your account. Okay, just put in your email, put in your all the required documents. Any email will fine. You just don't need a college email ID. Any email will work just fine. Okay, then that was all. So if you didn't understand it, I hope you understood a bit more better with this session. So that's all. Thank you guys. If you have any doubts, do let me know. And you can always connect with me through DSC. So that's all. Thank you all for listening to my session.
Thank you, Namruta, for your excellence. I hope you guys would have got an idea about what is GitHub and how GitHub works, what's Git and how you're doing it. Your questions will be answered after next session. Please stay tuned. It may the event may go up to 7:05 or 7:10. Like, it's just 5 or 10 minutes. The next demo is going to be awesome, where you're going to explore how to connect Android Studio with your GitHub without with directly cloning your Android, and then you can directly clone your GitHub repository inside your Android Studio also. Just stay tuned, wait. Once the next session is over, you'll be clearing doubts. You'll be sending out the feedback form. Once you fill the feedback form, you'll be getting your registrations. So please stay tuned for the next 2 sessions. Akshay, you can proceed with the next session. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, great. So good evening to everyone present here. My name is Akshay. I'm a first-year student at SRM University, Ramapuram campus. And yeah, so I'm going to be giving a demo on version control using GitHub and Android Studio. I'm going to be covering the agenda for the demo, tokens in GitHub, what they are and how they're useful. Then we can proceed to the demo itself. So the agenda for the demo, we're going to be linking our account to our GitHub account to Android Studio, committing and pushing the initial project. Then I'm going to make some changes to the project and commit and push that and make an updated repository. Lastly, I'm going to show you how you guys can open a new project in an existing GitHub repository from an existing GitHub repository. Firstly, let me show you what tokens are in GitHub. So tokens in GitHub are basically very similar to tokens in real life. A repository owner in GitHub would give out a token to someone if he wants to, and that token can grant access to the GitHub repository. So here, the benefit of the token is over the normal login is that if the repository owner wants, he can make sure to disable a few permissions while giving out the token. Let's move on to the demo itself. I'm going to show you how you guys can have a token for yourself. So here you guys can see my Android Studio, and I have executed the default project here, that is the hello world. So I'm going to push this to my GitHub, and then we're going to update this and push that as well. So let me, to push this into your GitHub, simply go up to VCS, go down to import into version control, go to share project on GitHub. Now it asks you to log in into your GitHub, and now you can simply click on use token, and here it asks you to put your token. Now to get your token, go to your GitHub account and go here to settings, click on it, go down to developer settings and go to personal access tokens. Over here, click on generate a new token and here add a node. So I'm just going to add ASJ102 And here you define the scopes for the personal token. So since I'm the one using the token, I'm going to give full permissions. But in case I was, say, a senior developer at a company and I wanted to give this token to, say, an intern, then I would make sure to untick these options such as delete packages or delete repositories. But again, since I'm the one using this token, I will give it full access. Click on generate token. Now simply copy this token and paste it here. Now click on login and it logs you right in. Now you have to put the details for the repository you want in your GitHub account. So I'm going to leave the repository name to ASD102. I'm going to leave the remote to origin, which is the default, and I'm going to add a description saying that this is a test. I can also choose to make it public or private. I'm going to leave it at public for now. Click on share. And here you guys can see that it's creating the empty repository. And soon I will get a pop-up asking me to choose the files I want to actually commit into my GitHub. So soon we will get that pop-up. Here you go. So these are the folders and files that are actually affected by this project and are part of this. You can put your commit message. The default message is initial commit, and I'm just going to simply add that. Now we will simply be able to perform the commit, and within a few seconds we should see that we have successfully performed the commit. So here in your git log, you'll be able to see that our commit was successfully done. Now if we go to our repository here, then we will see that this has come here. Now clicking on this, you can see that all our project files are already here. Now in case I want to make a change here on my project, so I'm just simply going to add a comment here saying that this was done by Akshay. And now if I want to update it onto the GitHub repository, I'm just going to go up here to VCS, click on commit here. And once I do that, it is going to scan for any changes that have happened from the previous commit. So these are the folders and files that are affected. And here I need to add a commit message. I'm going to say a comment was added. Now I click on commit. And after a few seconds, we should be able to see here that 2 files were committed and a comment was added. So now we simply, now if we go back to our GitHub and click on refresh, we will not see any changes here. That is because we have missed out on a very important step, and that is to push our commit. So for that, go up here to VCS and go to Git, and from here, go down to push. Clicking on push, you'll be able to see that your most recent commit is right here. These were the folders affected, and then we simply click push. Now after a few seconds, you'll be able to see that the commit was successfully pushed. As you can see, pushed 1 commit. Now when we go here and refresh, we can see that these 2 folders have been changed and the message a comment was added has come here. So if I go to the app and the source and go to the main, and here you guys can see the .kt file, which is basically the .kotlin file. If I click on this, you guys can see that my comment has come here. Okay, so that's all about me pushing and committing my files. Now I'm going to show you guys how you can take a project that is already in an existing GitHub repository and put it in yours. So here, if I go to my repositories, I have a repository that says to be imported. So if I want to put this to my Android Studio, we'll simply copy the URL, go back to my Android Studio, go to File, click on New, and go to Project from Version Control. When I click on it, it asks me for the URL. Simply paste the URL and click clone. Now, within a few seconds, it is going to clone the project, and I will get a pop-up asking me if I want to put the project on the same window or a new window. I'm going to select new window. So as you guys can see here that the project is opening, and here we can see that the project is open. Now it is still loading and the Gradle is building. So it says importing the Gradle project. Now it's very important for us to know what Gradle really is. So Gradle is basically a build automation tool that just provides flexibility and consistency, and it helps in the automation process. It helps in compiling, linking, and packaging it. So basically why it's used is because it resolves the issues faced by the build tools and focus on performance and flexibility. Now within a few seconds, we'll be able to see our project here. Now, as you can see, it says that it's building it and importing the data. And now the project is here. I'm simply going to click on run the app. And now we get that the Gradle build is running. Now this will take a minute or two. And while that is happening, I request us to move on to the questions.
Hi guys, so we will be clearing few doubts now. Okay, if you have any doubts or anything, put it in the questions tab. We will answer those questions. Okay, starting from can you elaborate more on sandboxing? Well, sandboxing is a technique which we use to contaminate the production code. Let's say you are having an app which is running, okay? Let's say the current version of Netflix is running, okay? If there is any vulnerability in the new version, the current version shouldn't be infected. It's just like it's like how we are quarantined. It's just like quarantining the code inside the sandbox. It's the production code which is running currently won't be affected by any malicious threat or something, or any vulnerability to be exact. What is GitHub? Yeah, I hope you would have understood now by now what a GitHub is. Okay, so Git and GitHub difference, that also will be answered, like would have already been answered if you have watched this session closely. How to set up Git for a particular GitHub account? Well, we will be using by now you would have understood, right? There is a local repository which we create, and then we connect it, to our actual repository's location there. Forking, same as cloning. Yeah, it's just more or less same, but forking is taking your code, like taking some other code, like let's say Akshay posted this code in his GitHub, right? If I want to take it and make changes, I'll have to fork. Whereas cloning is something where I have my own code that I'm going to clone. That's called as cloning. Okay. To learn about Kotlin, I guess we have done already in session 1. If you haven't watched the session 1, go and watch it there.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but here, as you guys can see that it has successfully completed the operation, and my project on GitHub was basically that this came from GitHub. So with that, I would simply like to end my demo. And thank you guys for listening to me and being patient. I hope that now that you guys know version control with GitHub and Android Studio, you guys can try it out for yourself. Thank you again.
There is not any particular language which we use for Git. Git is, we use commands in Git to communicate with our repositories, make changes, etc. So there is no anything such as a particular programming language which you use for Git. Okay. Okay, guys, I guess it's been an absolutely great session. I'll put up the feedback form in the chat box. Make sure you guys fill it so that we will exactly know who all participated in this session. So thank you guys for being here. Rudula, I guess you can take over. Don't forget to fill the feedback form. We need it. Well, and then for Android Studio, actually we recommend at least have i5 more than i5 5th gen, so that you have a good, and then as good GPU, at least 1050. Okay, I guess that will be fine. Along with if it's a PC, then no issues. If you have a laptop or if you are going anything specification less than this, use at least CoolPad so that it doesn't get, your laptop doesn't get heated and stops. Okay, Mridula, you can take over.
Wow, what an event. First of all, I would like to give my thanks to all the speakers who share their valuable knowledge with us. I would even like to extend my gratitude to the club members and organizers, because without them, this wouldn't have been that successful. Finally, the whole audience, thank you very much for devoting your valuable attention, and I hope you all love this session. A feedback link has been posted in the comment box. Kindly fill it up before you leave. And if you all still have any technical doubts in one of the topics, then do get connected with our speakers and our community members in the Android Study Jam WhatsApp group. We would all love to help you guys. So with this, we are wrapping up. So remember to fill the feedback form before leaving. So see you all in our next session and have a nice day.